All right, so picture this. You get yourself an 11 kill streak, and I'm the pilot that shows up. Are we to get ourselves that nuke? I certainly hope so. What's up, guys? Welcome back to some more Microsoft Flight Simulator. Today, Captain Martin is back, and we are going to be taking on the C-130. The Angel of Death, the eye in the sky, the big flying tank is basically what this thing is. Has so much incredible firepower, can do so much, can see so much, can protect so much. Just ultimate air support, air superiority. Make the enemies run away in fear. And like I said, hopefully we're going to be able to convert that 11 kill streak to a 25. So hopefully this goes well. I'm excited. And I've got some cool facts for you guys. We're actually going to be taking off from Vietnam. I learned something totally new. I had no idea. So we're going to talk about that here in a minute. But yeah, so this is the C-130 now. The unfortunate part is I don't believe the inside was ever actually completed. We can see my head here, and we've got this just terrifying thing going on. None of the interior gauges work or anything. This was like an official mod on the Microsoft Flight Sim, store, and it was $15, which really isn't bad. Ooh, we've got maps in our pants. We've got like pants, like cargo shorts, but you can hold maps in them. That's kind of cool. It was rated like 1.1 stars, but if the thing flies, I'm okay with it. We don't have to look inside. You know what I mean? We do have the outside here. We had a few different liveries, so this one's going to be from Puerto Rico. Look at that, U.S. Air Force. Interesting enough, the Air Force is the only branch of the military that flies this thing. Oftentimes planes are kind of shared, and like we saw with like the F-35s, there's multiple different versions for different branches. The Air Force is the only one that operates this bad boy, and look at this, dude. 4 engines, just giant cargo bay in here, can carry so many people, so many things, offers so much support, but what it's actually best at is shooting things. So we're going to go ahead and release the parking brake. I'm going to go ahead and fire these 4 turbo props up, and here we go, baby. Get a nice little zoom in. Let's just have like a little cinematic takeoff here. Dude, I mean, obviously the inside was not great, but the outside looks pretty good here. This thing is an absolute menace, and I can't believe we're about to fly it right now. All right, let's get this thing reset. I don't really know what speed we're gonna want to be taking off at. We're going about 120 airspeed right now. Let's see if we can start thinking about pulling back. That's good enough for me. All right, you always want to hear your pilot talking about that. Let me go ahead and put our gear up. Ooh, look at that. Look at that front landing gear there. That's pretty interesting. All right, we're losing some speed here. Let's get this together, Chev. Don't sink. I will not sink. Dude, look at this thing. Big Bertha's up in the air, and we are slowly but surely going to climb our way to about 7,000 feet. Currently, we're about 800. All right, let's just watch our hair climb up into the sky here. Kind of an interesting little look there. Dude, look at this. It's so massive. It's so scary. Like, imagine, they always talk about in the battlefield, like the A-10 Warthog was always so terrifying for enemies because you'd hear the brrrt, and then like the ground would rip up around you. But I feel like one of these things, this thing would block out the sun. You'd see the shadow coming at you, and you'd be like, oh, dude, I'm done. Right before the giant howitzer missile hits you. We're at about losing some airspeed. I don't have any gauges or anything to really help me out here, so we need to make sure we're keeping our speed and everything up. We're at about 4,000 feet, so we're trying to get up to 7,000. That's about where this thing typically operates. Pretty sure it's got a ceiling of like around 30,000 feet or so. It's pressurized and everything. Like you can really get up there, but it typically operates closer to the ground. The whole deal with this thing is like close air support, air interdiction, which I had to look up what that meant. Basically, it's like it's a stop. It's like a stop sign. It's like, hey, you're not going any farther than this. You're not going to come mess with our ground troops. You're not going to do anything. Like, this thing just kind of sits up there at 7,000 feet, and she just circles, and she just watches, and she waits, and she strikes when she feels ready. Let's see where we're at. We're at about 6,300. All right, I'm going to get us up to 7,000, then we're going to level out. But yeah, it's all about staying close to the ground and just protecting the things around it. So, I mean, typically, if So if you were a C-130 pilot, this is about your operating zone in here, maybe 500 feet more. Look at this. We've got little windows down where you can kind of see down by your feet and stuff when you don't have your giant aviators in the way. Hey, 6 shades though, dude. Yeah, look at that. Oh my goodness, dude. Imagine just seeing anything you want down there and being able to destroy it. So yeah, we're at about 8400 now. We're gonna bleed off a little altitude. This is the operating zone right in here. So just above the clouds, but typically you're not even gonna need those because this thing mostly operates at night. And I've got a sad story to tell you guys at the end, so make sure you stay around for that. So one of the interesting things is, and the reason why we're here in Vietnam, I kind of wanna, I know nothing about Vietnam. I really wanna go. I've heard it's super, super, super beautiful. I'm going to try, we are going the complete opposite way. I'm going to try to point us towards the water and see if we can't get over to the coastline and kind of see what that's looking like. So we're going to want to head due southeast here. Let's just do like a big bank turn. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's looking good. Look at this thing, dude. Oh my goodness, she's beautiful. Check our heading. Looking pretty good. We could probably turn a little bit more left. Doing this without any gauges or compasses or anything isn't ideal. Obviously, you know, we like to have the full mod, but we're gonna be fine here. This is good enough. Look at her, dude. Oh my goodness. Just an absolute queen of the skies here. Angel of death. Just can't touch her. I'm gonna try to trim us so that we're nice and level. Does she have lines? Are those like clotheslines? We drying some laundry here? What's the plan? I'm not sure what's going on, but this dude, look at this thing. You're joking. This thing is so sick. Wow. We can see the crazy Animorph pilots that we've got going on in there, all layered on top of each other. I'm not sure what all that wind noise was right there, but I hope we're okay. All right, let's trim down just a little bit. I think we're gonna be in good shape here. Gosh, this thing is just beautiful. Okay, let's reset our view. Let's get into this. So we're in Vietnam because this is actually where this plane started, at least the early versions of it. This is not a new aircraft. It first started flying back in 1966 during the Vietnam War. Now back then it was called the AC-47, and then we went to the AC-119, and then we had the AC-130A, and then we've had multiple C-130s since then. It started with the Spectre, then we went to the Spooky, and now we're on to the Ghost Rider and the Stinger. And I love all of these names. They have absolutely killed it. Like, our names for our planes are pretty dope. Like F-22 Raptor, the C-130 Spooky, or Ghost Rider, like that. These are dope. Get you guys some different unique views here. Now keep in mind, all my information comes from random Google searches, and I try to take a few different websites and compile everything together and try to fact check a little bit. There were some conflicting numbers on how many have been made. From what I can tell, it's largely under 50. A lot of places say around 47 have been made in total, and depending on what version it was, they obviously had different prices, and they've all been made over a long period of time since the 60s. So in 200 million is a good number. I saw some like at like 210. I saw some at 190, some at 170. So around 200 million for one of these birds, and really not very many have been made. I guess it's kind of like a if it ain't broke, don't fix it style of thing. Like they do their job so well. They are so menacing. They are so just absolutely demoralizing to the enemy, and they're so good at protecting, you know, your troops on the ground. They don't need any more than that. They've been used in every major conflict since they came out. They were used in Vietnam. They were used out in the, you know, Middle East, and they're one of the big embracing hugs of the sky. And like I said at the start, their nickname is the Angel of Death because they're just so good at death and destruction. Take a look at our map here. See if we're a little bit off course. We're getting into this. Looks like kind of like a river delta area. This could be kind of interesting. So let's get ourselves on a little bit of a right trajectory. Oh, there's the coastline right there. I'm gonna lose some altitude. I mean, we're kind of up there right now. Yeah, we're 14,000 feet. Let's go ahead and bleed some altitude off here. This will be an interesting. Very interesting look. Are you guys nervous or no? You're good? Okay. I'm a little bit nervous here. Oh my goodness, dude. Such a big girl. Such a good girl.
Overspeed.
A little bit of overspeed here. Yeah, not surprised by that in the slightest. We're gonna have to get rid of this warning here in a second. It's a little annoying, but I just wanted to come down and kind of check out the views here of Vietnam. I've always heard that Vietnam is just absolutely beautiful, super kind people, and a great place to visit. So who knows? Maybe you'll see it on the vlog channel at some point. All right, look at that. Go ahead and level out a bit, and we're looking good. Yeah, this is gorgeous. You got mountains. You've got jungles, you've got deltas, you've got everything you could ask for. So obviously weapons are one of the biggest things we want to talk about here. Now, there have been so many different versions of this, and there's so many different layouts that you can use and things like that. There's no like definitive, this is what it is. A lot of the spooky versions, I believe, the spooky 2's guns, for the most part, you had the 105mm howitzer, which is the big one. Like think back in Modern Warfare 2, the one that took a while to reload and it had the huge explosion. That thing is ridiculous, and it shoots at about 6 to 10 rounds per minute. You've got a 40mm cannon that shoots at 120 rounds per minute, so you can shoot 2 of those per second, which 40mm, like that thing's massive. That's going to blow up trucks and destroy buildings and things like that. And then on top of all of that, you've got your Gatling gun, which I feel like was kind of overlooked and a little bit underrated back in Modern Warfare 2. If you could lead your shots and really do well with it, I feel like the Gatling gun was the best of the 3. So this one shoots 25mm bullets at 1,800 rounds per minute. That is 30 rounds per second. Like think about like your TV. A lot of TVs and monitors and things are at 30 rounds per second or frames per second. Think about a gun shooting that fast. Brrr, isn't even fast enough to put that into perspective. So you're welcome for that. Hopefully you were wearing headphones. But yeah, you've got all 3 of these guns, and the crazy thing is they can be used in unison looking at different targets. You can target different things on different sides of the plane all at the same time, which is ridiculous. So I think it said that it can track and really kind of hone in on 2 different targets up to 1 kilometer apart on opposite sides of the plane at the same time. So again, this thing is literally just, it's an angel blanket of death. Like if you're in range of this thing, you're done if it wants you to be done. There's nothing you're going to be able to do. It's up there circling you at 7,000 feet. It's pitch black. You can't see it. And you accept your fate, and you hope somehow they miss, or you can get off the radar or something somehow. Now, to be able to operate this, it's a pretty, complex airplane. Obviously, it's huge. I mean, look at the size of this thing. We can see we need 4 pilots all, docked up on top of each other just to run it. No, that's not realistic. We're coming up on the Vung Tau Airport here. Okay. Kind of cool. This is a nice little city area. I love how there's little sections of mountain, and then it gets super flat down to sea level, and then there's like little sections of mountain off in the distance. It's not like one big mountain range or anything. That's kind of cool. But yeah, unfortunately, you don't have 4 pilots lapping up in the front seats like we do here in this Chalked mod. You had over 12 people, depending on the different layouts and different styles and things. You had, over a dozen people commanding this thing. There was a pilot, co-pilot, navigator, electronic warfare officer, fire control officer, loadmaster, TV operator, infrared detection set operator, and up to 4 or 5 gunners all running this thing at the same time. And then, of course, if they could be transporting troops or transporting equipment or things like that, they could be doing that as well. So minimum of over a dozen people just to be able to fly this thing and make it combat ready, which is kind of crazy. That's a lot of people. But again, she does really, really well at what she does, and she's had a really good track record. I don't think our commanding officer is going to be very happy with us with these maneuvers, but he's just going to have to let Pilot T. Martin do his job. Oh my goodness. We got down to 30 feet, dude. Oh my goodness. Just skimming the water. I love it. Anyway, back to our fun facts here. So we were talking about mainly the Spooky 2. So that up until this point, the Spooky 2 has kind of been like the main one. I believe it was retired just a couple of years ago in 2019 or somewhere around there. And going forward, I believe the two main models are going to be Ghost Rider and Stinger, and I'm sure over time we're going to have even more models start popping up and things. But it's really kind of getting pretty crazy, and it's starting to get more into advanced warfare. Like advanced warfare is not too far off in terms of technology and stuff. Apparently this year, sometime in 2022, they're supposed to be testing out a new laser weapon on Ghost Rider. So like literally a laser cannon, a laser gun that shoots lasers and destroys things, which is insane. I don't know if it's like infrared or like we learned that some of the like F-35s had like laser technology and stuff where they could jam signals. I don't know exactly what it does. I don't know if it's been tested yet. I'm sure that's really, far under wraps, but just to even think about that, to even say that, yeah, we're going to have laser weapons on our C-130s is ridiculous. They're also, apparently, they're thinking about adding like air deployment of drones. So imagine this big thing flying over a city or flying over a battlefield or something, and then just a ton of little drones come flying out of it, and all those little things have weapons on them and can kamikaze and all kinds of crazy stuff. I mean, we're truly getting to the future. I mean, we are in the future. Every second that passes is a second into the future. Think about that. But yeah, it's just it's crazy to think about. It's cool to think that this thing, again, it originally started back in the 60s. It's still dominating battlefields today, and it's a platform that is infinitely customizable. It's big. It's not necessarily. I've said beautiful a bunch of times. It's not necessarily beautiful. It's just kind of like a big flying stick in the sky that you can do anything you want with, which is interesting. Ooh, look at this little harbor here, dude. Man. These beaches are beautiful. This is a beautiful, beautiful country, that's for sure. Now, the last thing I wanted to tell you guys about is kind of a sad story. So, like I said, there are 47 of these things that are made, at least from what I could see or find out. There are 7 that have been reported to be lost in battle. 6 of those came during the Vietnam War, which is why we're flying here. So obviously this was very early on. This was when it wasn't even the C-130 yet. They had kinks to work out. Back then, it was a little bit more rough and tumble. It happens, especially with new technology like this. The most recent one to go down was all the way back in 1991. So it was still a while ago, but it's fairly recent history. It's the 7th one to go down, the last one to ever go down, and it went down in Iraq. Now, there's some different stories and things. Basically, from what I can tell, the synopsis of it, the name of it was Spirit 03, if you guys want to look it up. It was running this nighttime mission. It was doing a great job, but it started running low on fuel, and their order was to turn around and go home. They were low on fuel. The sun was coming up. They were low on munitions, things like that. Like, they had to get out of there. It was time to go. But the troops that they were protecting down on the ground were not necessarily in a safe space. So originally, they kind of turned around, but then they turned back around to come help them out in like a big firefight, a big engagement. And somehow a shoulder-fired missile from like a single, soldier, a single insurgent, went up and killed them and got them. And again, these things fly at around 7,000 feet. What are we at right now? We're at about 2,000, so think triple this height. That's not very high. Like, you can very clearly, see that from the ground. And obviously, it makes it easier for a shoulder-mounted rocket to be able to hit you. It's crazy to think about something like that taking this plane down. He had to be the man amongst all his friends. But, yeah, so these things, they're supposed to be flying at night because they have the cover of night. You can't see it. You don't know where it is. You can hear it, but you have a hard time, locating it. It was dawn, so they could be seen. Technically they were going against orders, but they were doing so to be able to defend the Marines that they, had under their cover. And there were no survivors. Everyone on the C-130 went down with it. Obviously very, very, very tragic. Kind of a beautiful sacrifice, though. They made the ultimate sacrifice for their brothers in arms, which I think is kind of cool and obviously just very admirable. So rest in peace to the entire flight crew of Spirit 03. You will not be forgotten, and honestly, hopefully you guys stay the last one to ever have gone down. Hopefully we don't have any more of those in the future. It seems like we've had a pretty good track record so far, so we'll hope that we can keep it up. I've really this entire time really been wanting to try something, and this I really want to do a barrel roll, but I don't think we're going to be able to. Dude, look how slow this thing is. I can get her to just about 90 degrees. I don't know if we want to do any more than that. I mean, we could try an inverted flight. How fast are we going? Airspeed of 295. We're about 300. We're going to go for it. Here we go. Inverted flight. Oh, dude, we're sinking. This thing's like a giant rock. There's no way. 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 It's not going to happen. I'm going to bring it back around. Spirit 03, you're the last one. I'm not going to let this happen. I'm not going to let this happen. Oh, that's a very inappropriate mountain. I didn't want that there. Oh, my God. Okay. There you guys have it. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you guys so much for watching. My life just flashed before my eyes. Vietnam, you're beautiful. AC-130, you're beautiful. Thank you for all your service. Thank you for keeping all of our troops safe. Thank you for dominating those battlefields and taking it to the enemies. And keep up the good work. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'm going to see you guys in our next one. That was such a close call, dude. My hands are sweaty. I'll see you guys soon. Let me know what we should fly next. There's so many different planes in this game. We don't even have to stick with military planes. We were going with jets. Now we're branching out to Big Berthas. What should we do next? I'll see you guys there.